Welcome back to the channel. Today I have a very special treat for me. I have my adult son here today as my training partner. I'm very proud to have him on here, and thanks for being here, Drake.
Wow.
The second thing we've got is I've gotten several questions from people about our guard passing program. So today we're going to go over how to pass the guard. Check it out. So the first thing I want to address is the posture on how we sit in the guard. He's in the guard, he's got his legs around my waist. It helps him control my posture. That's his goal. He wants to eliminate the space between us and keep me close. I want to keep the space between us. What we normally see is they tell you to put a hand somewhere around the hip, somewhere around the chest. The problem for me, as a shorter person, is that to do so makes me lean forward, which means I get pulled forward. And I end up fighting this game the whole time, and I can't ever keep my back straight for good posture. So what I've started doing is, instead of putting hands on him, I let my hands float. And now when he pulls forward, I push my hips forward, raise my head up a little bit more. Go ahead and pull, bud. And now when my hands hit him, I've still got a straight back versus being bowed and pulled forward. And for me, this is a lot easier to keep this posture of keeping my back straight, keeping my head out of the way, and keeping myself in a position where I'm safe. Safe in self-defense from inside somebody else's guard. If we're doing straight just Jiu Jitsu where there's no strikes involved, he's in an advantage position because he can pull my hips, he can move me around. If we can add the strikes into this, this is more of a 50-50. Because yeah, he can pull forward, and every time he does, I introduce him to my right hand or my elbow. So it evens out. So I'm safe out here. I'm safe really close into him, controlling his posture. It's this middle area that I get hit in. This is where you get punched. This is where you get elbows. Drake will really enjoy when I tell you this. He's taller than I am, so he has a longer reach. It's not unusual that I can't touch his chin, but he can touch mine. And while he may not have as much power from there as he does when he stands and throws across, he can still hit pretty hard. So I keep my posture up. So the second thing you'll notice that I do differently than most people will tell you hip, chest, position on the bicep and pin it down. All that's great. Then what they'll do is they move this leg and try to put it in the center. I'm 50-something years old and not super flexible anymore. For me, that means I end up having to lean forward. And I watch people do this every class. They lean forward to get their leg in place. We've already established the moment I start leaning forward, I'm fighting this game again. So I reverse this. I don't care if you put the hand in the hip, the hand in the chest. I like to grab the bicep here, and I keep this elbow tight to begin with, and I take that back leg and I move it out first. That allows me to keep my posture and my head up. Now when I turn that, I get in here, and now my knee is actually sitting against the butt cheek and holding his hips in place. I'm now pushing here and here, and I've got his guard broken. There's a lot of controversy on how to break the guard. Do I need to break the guard? One of the things that I notice, especially as a shorter person, sometimes I work with some guys that are 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", even got a couple of guys that are 6'8". I can't get their legs to break. I can't break the ankles apart. Legs are too long. I'm pushing all day long. I'm on the other end of the room by the time I can get their legs to break apart. If I can get the space right here that I need between me and them, hand on the chest, and I go right down to the ground, and I push. All my weight now goes on the hand and the bicep, and I'm going to turn my angle. My knee now just went outside of his hip, and I'm trapping this leg between my elbow and my thigh, or my hip. Now I can bring this up, and as I'm going to grab across here, and as I go to turn in, this elbow is going to pop outwards this way. If I leave this elbow in, I get triangle, I get arm bar because he can keep his legs together. As I drive it across and I pop it out, it makes it much harder for him to do so. Now I'm going to grab across and grab that far shoulder. I'm going to put his knee into his face and drive all my weight forward, and then I'm going to turn and just let it pass off on me and take side control. So here we are from another angle, and again, I slide this leg back. I turn, hand on my chest, and I'm driving through bicep, floor, and I turn this angle. Now I've got this pinned. I bring this up, get this in here, crush down, and just walk around. I'm keeping all that weight on it. And I'll go ahead and take my side control. And one more time from a straight on angle. You see I get position here and I slide that leg back. I turn, I go underneath, and I'm going to step it. Control here, bend it. Look, elbows pop out. If I leave this in, I start having to worry about this triangle and this arm bar with the leg coming over the top. I leave this out, much harder for him to affect that. And I make my turn. So the second part of our progression now is that as I slide into this position and I get here, he sees what's coming. He's savvy to this, he knows what I'm doing. He breaks his legs and he's gonna push himself away some. He's trying to reposition his hips so I can't pin them down. I'm gonna take this hand and go right inside his knee. I like my fingers inside of his knee, not over the top. If I push down here, he can pull my wrist right there and pull the hand off, and you fight this game. If I'm here, he's got to pull all those fingers out of there to do that, okay? Now as I go under this far arm, this is crucial. As he's trying to reach, push, do whatever he's going to do to keep me off of him, I want to go under this arm, here. I do not want to let him have that hook. I need this underhook right here. I'm going to take this, my near knee, that's the one that's closest to his bottom here, and I'm actually going to put all my weight into these 2 points, his ribs and his leg, and I'm going to pop that right over the top. And just slide like I'm going into second base. Hook up here, and I slide right into a modified caser. So from a front view now, I'm going to start my slide just like I did that first pass. As I make my turn, he turns with, because he doesn't want this. Now we've got the fight going on. I pin, I go under this arm, and I'm going to put all my weight on him, make him carry me, so I can slide that knee through, step it through, get this hook, so I'm controlling, and I'm going to crush him with my weight. And from one more angle, we start with this move. I'm pulling in, I'm sliding in, he makes his move, he's keeping me off. Hand inside, underhook, I'm going to make him carry me so I can slide through. Control this arm, slide it through. The third part of our progression here is now the far knee. I got the near knee in, so this time I'm sliding, I'm trying to work into my position here, and again he repositions himself. I go to block this leg, and as I go to put my near knee through, he's got a free hand that he blocks it with. He does not let me do so. That's fine, because now I take this one and drive right through. Again, big key, I've got to have this far underhook. The thing on this side is, and you'll see this when we hit the next angle, I'm using my foot and my shin on his thigh to block this leg. Now, because I got this underhook, I'm going to hug him here, I'm going to give him this shoulder of doom right into his face, and I'm going to roll my hip over. The key on this is don't lay down. You see how I pull him with me? That's bad. When I step this over, I put my weight into his face right here. Now this leg slides up, and I've got good control. So again, here I sit, I start to slide this out, he rearranges his position. Underhook and pin. I come in there, he blocks this leg, drive that one right through. Under the head, and again, this is what I'm talking about. I've actually got as much weight as I can put riding on his thigh. Not comfortable. So I come under the head and I crush this shoulder. My hip does not touch the floor. My weight goes into him. Then I slide this through and I block him right into my side control. And the final guard pass we're going to work today is one of my personal favorites. It's a double unders. On this one, I'm working with a very savvy player that the moment I start getting this move on, they don't let me get far. They bring both the feet in and pop them in my hips and open the guard. Now he's playing a completely different game. I'm going to pray, hands together. Drop my elbows tight. I'm going under both legs. And I'm putting a seatbelt on right at his waist. And I want to stay tight. I don't want to be up high. I want to stay tight. I've got to get him on my lap in one of two ways. I can sit up for a half second and pull him forward. That works great with Drake and I, because even though he's taller than me, I outweigh him by about 40, 50 pounds. It doesn't work so well with somebody who's more my size, because that depends on muscle. I don't like that. So what I do is I drive forward and walk my feet up underneath him. Now I want to crush him. I'm going to take this bottom hand, I'm going to drive it up to the opposite shoulder, and I'm going to move forward and then turn. And let his legs pop off, right back to side control. One more time from this angle. As I start to move, he pops his guard loose and puts his feet up because he's trying to get for this open guard. I recognize this immediately, get my hands tight and close, go underneath, get a seat belt, get him on my lap, drive through. I never let this go. I just let this drive through and get control here. I'm going to drive with my feet, put his knee in his face, turn. Do my position here. All right, from a different angle now, you see that as soon as I start to move, he pops his guard out and puts him up where he needs them. Elbows tight, hands tight, under both legs, seat belt on. Put him on my lap. Drive this leg, this hand to the shoulder, drive his leg to his face, just walk to the side and turn, and I take side control. And from the third angle now, here I am, I'm starting to pass the guard. He pops his guard open. Hands and elbows tight, underneath both legs, put the seat belt on his waist, put him on my lap, grab the far shoulder, knee in the face, walk around, take my side control. Today we worked some of our guard pass series. Again, thanks to Drake for coming out and being my throw dummy today. We're always available for seminars. You can find us at CenturionHoldingsLLC.net. You can contact us at CenturionHoldingsLLC@gmail.com. We're available for seminars, both on our ground fighting stuff for our Jiu Jitsu and stand-up, clinch, all the good stuff that we do. We've also got a fitness component if you check out our YouTube page here. You can find us on all the social media, or you can click the QR code right there. We'll see you next time.